We've spent 10 or 15 years talking to clients, trying to help them understand what their number is. What is the number they need to be able to live the life they want? Through the Fairstone journey, we've also been able to identify what our number is. And we've been able to sort of see what the baseline is and see what the upside is. So it is very much a win-win for both ourselves as business owners and the clients.
I'm Nigel Woods from Harrogate office, and I'm a financial planner.
And I'm Nigel's brother Paul, and I work at the Harrogate office, and I'm a financial planner too. We originally were mortgage brokers, mortgage advisors. The financial crisis came along in 2008 and the phone stopped ringing. So at that point, we effectively reinvented ourselves over a couple of years. We worked with a coach who focused really on financial planning and incorporated cash flow into the proposition. So we gradually just transitioned from a traditional mortgage advisor role to fully fledged, full-fat financial planning.
We wanted to remain fiercely independent. That was the number one priority for the clients that we were working with. The network that we were involved with before Fairstone were applying tremendous amounts of pressure for us to become restricted, to work with a panel of investment companies. That was just something that we didn't want to do for the clients we were working with. So there's a real catalyst at that particular point. At that stage, we really started to look for a new home, went into the marketplace, trying to understand what options were available. And Fairstone was hugely attractive. We just looked at the business culture, ethos. The people we met in the business very initially were like us. And I think what was really attractive was the size of Fairstone at that particular point.
The cash flow forecasting helps clients make massively important decisions. And we're there holding their hand, working through that journey. And we didn't want that to change. And it really felt with Fairstone that we had a firm that really could see that was really important. And they had the same values as us. What was really important for Nigel and I is to understand the sort of base value of the business as it stood at the time that we started to engage with Fairstone. And so we had a number that we could work to, which drove some decision making for us, but most importantly what we also had was a corridor of potential upside profit. There's a real big upside that if you work hard, grow the business, grow the assets under management, you will actually share in that bigger cake, and that was really appealing for us. The first 3 years we worked with Fairstone, we were effectively an independent business under their umbrella. We were being Fairstoned over that period. They were reviewing the quality of our work. We were beginning to understand their systems, their IT, their marketing, their compliance guidelines. And then there came a time when it was really appropriate for us to become fully fledged and to effectively take the ring and become Fairstone.
What was amazing with Fairstone, there wasn't any pressure to move from that initial integration stage to full acquisition. That was the direction of travel that we were working towards, but there was no pressure from anybody in Fairstone to say, when is this happening, guys? Are you doing it this month? Are you doing it next year? Very relaxed, wasn't it? Which, again, was really attractive to that process.
So the 3 years initially with Fairstone, our clients got used to it. They saw the branding. They became just really familiar with the concept. And that really, really helped, because when we completed the acquisition, there was actually pretty much an indifference to the fact that we were suddenly Fairstone. They welcomed it. They were pleased for us. But there was no shock. Other consolidators, other firms we spoke to, it was a much more brutal process. So I think the gradualization of the way Fairstone do it really helps clients feel really comfortable. And that's really important. The reaction and the positivity from clients that they're now part of one of the largest, most trusted financial planning firms in the UK. Clients are really pleased that we're still going to deliver financial planning and cash flow, and that's been supported by Fairstone. They're also embracing the additional security that we've got as part of a much, much bigger organisation. It was quite often asked of us, there's only the two of you and the 3 staff. What's going to happen when you don't? What's going to happen to me? Clients would ask, and they don't need to ask that question anymore. They now know they're part of a really successful, growing business. I certainly feel from a staff's perspective, it was very straightforward. They expected to be employed by Fairstone at some point. And when we made the announcement last year, they were very relaxed and very comfortable.
At some stage, Paul will retire from the business. So it was very important for me to make sure that fit was right and it was the right cultural fit, because at some stage when Paul does move on and Paul's replaced by another advisor, I know that Fairstone will ensure it's the right advisor with the right focus on client outcomes.
There's a myriad of functions you've got as a small business owner, and the vast majority of those now are no longer my responsibility or Nigel's. They all sit up at Fairstone's head office. And what that does is just create capacity for us to think about clients more, to drive really positive outcomes, to look for new clients, and we've just got more time to farm the clients we've got. And actually what we do now is we focus on the fun bits of the role, and all the rest of it is gone. And that's a win-win.